Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Bergeron here talking real estate. We have a crazy show for you today. We have the legend, Mike McLaughlin from Total Home Lending. He's going to drop dimes on you too. But as a special treat, we have, you know him as your local locksmith. Okay. Jason from your local locksmith is going to be on today. And I tell you what, we've been talking before the show. It went everywhere. It went crazy, new things with locks, old locks. The best thing to do, how to get away from a scam. It's going to be ridiculous. So you got to stay for the whole show, okay? Because it's definitely going to be awesome. So we got to get things rocking and rolling here. First things first, where are you tuning in from? Are you up in Oscoda, Michigan? Are you on the West Coast by Muskegon? Where are you at? Where are you tuning in? Are you in Grosse Pointe, Grosse Ile? Where are you? Put in the chat, please, where you are. We'd love to know where you're tuning in from. D7 checking in. Holy smokes. We got D7 in the house. What else we got going on around there? We got anybody from the Detroit? How about that? Tell me what we got going on. Monroe. I was in Monroe. Pete's Garage yesterday. Steve Kreitz in the house. How the heck are you, sir? Good to see you. Good to see you. Brownstown, Sherry Irving. Listen, girl, I got a great show for you. You got to watch tonight. You got to stick around the whole time. No guided reading practice. None of that stuff. Right now, we're talking real estate here. Shelly Gambino from Dearborn Heights. Holy smoke. Woodhaven in the house. Got all kinds of good stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today's show is show number 140. Can you believe it? Show number 140, okay? It is not condos and the ones that love them. It is Lock It Up, okay? We've got an expert locksmith today. We got an expert locksmith today on the show. He's going to tell us all kinds of stuff, all kinds of amazing stuff. So today's show 140 is Lock It Up. You got to check it out. But my first question to you is this. As a curious realtor, did you change your locks when you bought your last home? Did you change them yourself? Did you have somebody change them? Did you leave them alone? Kathy Cordy in the house. Good to see you. Pat Neese, the good neighbor. How are you, dear? Good to see you. The usual suspects are in the house today. So in the chat for me, please. Did you change your locks when you bought your last house? Let us know. We're just trying to figure things out in the world. We want to know. Did you change your locks? Did you have somebody change them? What did you do? Rekey? What did you do? Okay. Sherry says, yes, we did. Yes, you did. I remember that too. Yes, you sure did. What do you think? Did you change your locks yourself? What did you do? Because I'm telling you right now, Jason's going to throw stuff at you. You're going to be like, what the heck? He's going to also help you to stay away from scams. We were talking about, we kind of evolved into scams. And he goes, you got to watch for this, this, and this. So you got to stay tuned today. You got to watch what we got going on today. Chris Bergeron says, it's been a long time, but I believe I did. Woo, boy. Oh, yeah. It's been a long time. Zach Wilkowitz, Monroe is in the house. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. So, again, in the chat, tell us, did you rekey your house? Did you change the locks? What did you do when you bought your last place? We'll give you about 30 seconds to figure it out in the chat there. While you're doing that, ladies and gentlemen, remember, Pumpkin Challenge 2022 is right around the corner. We're talking October 26th. That show, we're going to do the drawing. All you got to do to enter is take a picture of a pumpkin you carved or painted or decorated in some way. Post on the post that I put on my Facebook page. I think last year we had 200, 250, something like that, of different people involved. We'd love to have you involved. So definitely good, hot, clean fun for everybody. And all you got to do is do that. You get entered in for a drawing. We'll have tons of prizes. I think we gave away 5 $100 gift cards last year, so it was awesome. So definitely do that. Steve Kreitz says he changed himself. Zach said, yes, I did. Absolutely. Crystal Henry says, hey, coach. Hope you've been doing well. Been doing well, dear. If you want to stick with us today, we're talking locks. We're talking locks, and we're definitely talking mortgages. That's what we're talking today. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mishta from Total Home Lending, Mike McLaughlin in the house, sir. First question: did you make dinner?
Actually, it's pretty much been a leftover night. We've got
leftover night. Come on, McLaughlin.
Well, look, I've been busy.
Always throwing you out there as the total home lender, the best guy in mortgage, and a top chef. All right, now you let me down.
Well, it's some good leftovers. I got my, yesterday I really went out. I put it out there yesterday. I made potato soup, which is a favorite around here, from scratch, and a ham and potato soup. And then I also made my masticcioli. So today we had the leftover masticcioli the potato soup was gone, and some other leftovers, like some leftover chicken from the grill, some with chicken and onions from the grill. And I'm going to make some, right after I get done here, I'm going to go make some cilantro lime rice and pair that with the chicken in the air fryer, the leftovers, and that should be nice.
All right. I was going to say, I was going to put you on notice, buddy, because I tell everybody you're the best at mortgages and you're a top chef as well. So, Michael, I want to talk about something.
Tomorrow is I'm making broccoli and cheese soup, like you get from Olga's, that stuff.
Okay, gotcha. So Kathy Cordy saying hello to you. Steve Kreutz is in the house saying hello to you.
Hey, guys.
Usual suspect. So, Michael, I want to talk about something we talked about last week, and I want to make it clear to people because I feel like the market, people are really nervous about interest rates and all that kind of stuff. Tell me about the 2-1 buyback that you were talking about last week, and break it down simple, plain English for people for me, okay?
Sure. Actually, let me see if I can. Let me see. I'll see if I need to reference anything. Basically, what you're doing is you're buying a reduced rate for 2 years.
Yep.
You as the buyer are not allowed to pay for it yourself. It has to come from the seller. Essentially, it has to come from the seller by way of seller concessions, meaning that they're going to take a little bit. Let's say it's a $100,000 house, and they can take $2,000 less, and then you can use that $2,000, and that's just an example, to buy down the rate by 2% for the first year and 1% for the second year. So let's just say that the going rate is 6.75. You'll get 1 year of the rate at 4.75%, and then the second year you'll get that rate at 5.75%. This is all theoretical, and then in the third year it returns to what the fully amortized rate is, and then you're going to have that for the duration. It can do one of two things. It can help you keep your payment low while you're just getting accustomed to your new home, your new job, maybe getting a couple raises under your belt. Or the other thing is, it's really believed that we're going to be in a refinance market even as soon as the spring, where rates it's believed that they're going to drop below 6%, maybe even below 5% again, after we get through this inflationary period. And that being said, there's an expression out there now that says buy the house and date the rate. So what that means is find the house you're going to love. You're going to get a better deal on it than you will for rent now anyway. And then put yourself in a position so that when the market does bounce back and the Fed no longer needs to aggressively address inflation, that when the rate comes back down, you can be in position to refinance. And then what's great about the 2-1 buy down is that, let's say they put that, we call it a bucket. Let's say they put that $2,000 in a bucket and it gives you that lower payment. Maybe let's say it lowers your payment by $100 a month. So it's reaching into that bucket, taking the $100 a month to lower your payment. If you refinance in the first 6 months, let's say you refinance at the 6-month point, that theoretical bucket has $1,400 in it. That doesn't go away. You actually get that money back. So the 2-1 buy down is an interesting animal. There's other options to explore in a higher rate market, like adjustable rate mortgages will become more of a tool than they have been for the last 10 years. So the market's going to adjust. Things are going to be okay. People are going to still have to sell homes and people are going to still have to buy homes. So
Michael, let me ask you, cut in for you for a second. So you're seeing probably refinance for the spring, or probably that's what you're thinking. That's what you're hearing.
Well, if I just go, I like to wait and see what happens. But if you just listen to what the experts are saying, they're saying that that's where they're coming up with the marry the house, date the rate, because they're expecting you're dating the rate. You're keeping it short term because just around the corner, rates are supposed to be much improved. And and the market is definitely treating it that way. When you're getting an interest rate these days, they're protecting themselves against the refinance boom. That's the best way to explain it. The way that they're pricing things right now, they're protecting themselves against the potential boom that they know for refinances that is very likely just around the corner.
Okay. Well, that's a breath of fresh air, buddy, because I tell you what, I've been hearing doom and gloom for a little bit from a lot of folks. So you being the expert that you are, that's a good thing we want to hear. So good rates are around the corner, right? And you still want to buy and sell homes. It's just that simple.
Yeah. And people are still, I mean, we're not as busy as we used to be, but, we're still selling homes every day. So it'll pick back up. We just got to get through this inflationary period and hopefully through this whole war thing, that's going on over in Russia. So
I got you. Well, Michael, listen, I appreciate you. I always appreciate you. Got any Michigan advice for us anytime soon? Anything going on there?
Nothing I can think of. Just you're thinking about purchasing a house and you think that you don't have the money. I can't say anything more powerful than you can buy a house for less than first month's, last month's, and security deposit.
Absolutely, you can. We've seen it done. You and I have done
ones way less than
for a grand or less. Absolutely. And I told you before, this market's perfect for that first-time home buyer because they're not getting their ass kicked by this guy that's got $50,000 cash waiting around it, and they're not 18th on the list anymore, right?
Right, and that's why the buy down's an attractive, or it's going to be more of an attractive offer even more as we move forward, because that's based upon the seller assisting, and with property values being so strong, the sellers, that's where those concessions can come in because if they're motivated to sell, they can help now.
Absolutely. All right, Michael. Well, listen, I appreciate you, my friend. I'll talk to you next week. Guys, if you need any help, Mike McLaughlin's the man. Total Home Lending. All right,
thanks, guys. Have a great night.
See ya. All right. Now, he was talking about slowing down a little bit, guys. I tell you what. Well, let me get this first question first, and I'll throw this at you. But would you try remote locks, ladies and gentlemen? Would you try remote locks? Would you try something you can lock from your phone? In the chat, let us know. Curious Realtor, would you try remote locks? If you would, give me a yes, give me a hell yeah, give me something. Would you try remote locks? Let's see what you got to say today. Talk to me. Remote locks that you can lock from your phone. Now, Mike talked about a little bit not being busy as we usually are. This guy we're going to bring on right now is busy all day. I think he said at 8 service calls today. Okay. And I met him at Rekey in my house to give you a little background, right? But just a straight shooter and somebody who has tons and tons of knowledge and content about locks. We sat here I'm telling you, we sat here for 10 minutes just rattling lock stuff back and forth. So this discussion is going to be a little different. We're going to kind of throw it around a little bit. So with no further ado, my friend Jason Schlegel from your local locksmith or the local locksmith?
The local locksmith.
Come on in, my friend. Come on in. All right. So Jason, there's the folks right there. So first things first, let's talk about, and I rattled this question off to you before. When somebody buys a house, okay, do you tell them to rekey it or do you tell them brand new locks?
Rekey.
Tell me why.
Because it's always easier to have the hardware that you have fits your door. You don't have to drill any holes, and it fits the door, and it's going to work. So
already getting some shout outs. Steve Kreitz says, "Hey Jason, what's going on?" There we go. All right. So rekey. How much price difference are we talking?
Well, rekeying is it's pretty affordable. You can rekey probably a single family home for less than $200.
Okay.
And that takes care of all your locks. That gives you all matching keys for all your locks. And then you've had somebody actually go through and inspect all your equipment, making sure everything works properly. Because I know in the real estate, you do a lot of home inspections.
Yep.
But I'm sure they're not checking the door locks. They put the key in and it works. Is the deadbolt working properly? Because the deadbolt has to extend all the way out, or it's not going to work properly. If you turn a deadbolt out just a few inches, an inch, you can smack it back in with your hand. But is it working in the door properly? Is the hole deep enough for the deadbolt? Is the latch working properly? That's key.
So let me ask you this. So let's say a homeowner decides to put his own locks in. What kinds of things have you seen that they screw up? Tell me.
Well, a lot of homeowners have some pretty good DIY knowledge. Locks are pretty basic. They make everything pretty easy now, but the basic things that they don't know is having the proper tools. So they'll try to use the wrong screwdriver to put a bolt in, or they'll put the wrong screw into the wrong spot. They'll put a wood screw in a machined hole, which will mess up the machined hole. So then your machined screw won't go in. Then then that hardware's junk. They've just bought hardware that they can't use. Or they'll have a door that they'll take the locks off to put the new hardware on, and the holes aren't the right size because in the older homes, I came across one today and it was in a condo downtown Wyandotte. And these aren't old. The condo, it's the Center Street condos.
Yep.
Tall building.
Yep.
And she tried to install it herself and she got to where the hole was the wrong size.
Really?
So I got there and I installed everything for her. and she also didn't have a tool because she bought one of those real big elaborate door handles.
Okay.
Instead of having just a lever or a knob, it had the big, the big handle, and she didn't have a drill to drill the hole. And how's she going to install this?
Yeah.
I mean, you run into problems with not the proper tools or the proper knowledge to install the locks, and even some of the hardware that they buy has to be adjusted because there are two size back sets on doors.
Okay.
There's 2 3/8 and 2 3/4, and if you pull a 2 3/4 out and it don't fit in the hole, you're wondering why. It's because there's a special adjustment, and all door locks have it that you buy from your hardware store that are for residential use. They can fit on either size door, either size back set.
Okay, so there's adjustment for
There's an adjustment for the back set, but people don't know that because it says in the instructions, and you're like most people like me, I don't look at it. I can do this without the instructions until you run into a problem.
Right.
And then when you run into a problem, you're like, oh, where's the instructions? So, and that's what homeowners do the same thing.
So, okay. So give me some things like you just said elaborate. So when you go to a house, give me some elaborate things you've seen or are done for folks. Like what different than just the normal put the locks on?
We install like security measures beyond just door locks. So hotel locks.
Okay.
If somebody has maybe an autistic child or an adult with Alzheimer's or something.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll install a lock that would be unreachable. It'd be too high for the child to reach, or it would take somebody a pretty good brain function to figure out how to do it because it's multiple moves at once. So somebody with dementia couldn't use it.
Okay.
And they use them in hotels. They're like hotel locks, but you can buy them at Home Depot, and they go on pretty quick and easy. And that's some elaborate stuff that we do.
So like, okay, so give me like a 2 or 3 step lock you're saying?
Yeah. Well, instead of just flipping a lock over, you know how you can just flip, like you can turn a deadbolt with one turn. A lot of these, this like hotel lock is, you have to pull it and it's spring loaded, and then you got to raise it over top of a ridge. That way it locks it in, and you can't unlock it without doing it. It takes 2. You got to pull spring loaded this way, and then you got to pull it around. It takes a little bit more brain function to do than just.
So those are for specific cases. You're trying to keep somebody safe.
Trying to keep somebody safe, because I run into where people want to put a lock and key, like it's a double cylinder deadbolt in their house, and you don't want that if there's a fire, because you want to look for a key. I mean, you're already panicking about a fire or something not safe, and then now you got to find a key to get the deadbolt unlocked, because they make double cylinder deadbolts. We don't,
So okay, so let's walk down that road a little bit. So as far as you walk into a house, what kind of guidelines or what kind of things in your head when somebody like, I just want my house to be safe, what do you recommend? Like, what kind of things do you tell them?
First thing is a deadbolt.
Okay.
That is the number one dollar for dollar investment. I've seen $400,000 houses that don't even have deadbolts installed on the doors.
Really?
Yes, in Ypsilanti. I do jobs all the time in these neighborhoods out in Ypsilanti, and I would go. They called me to install a deadbolt, and I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be just change a deadbolt. They had an old deadbolt.
Yeah.
I got there, and it's a brand new $400,000 house. Did not have a deadbolt hole even drilled in the front door.
So you mean the contractor, the builder, did not have it in at all?
So it's probably trying to cut corners, save money.
Yeah,
but
the safety though.
The number one, because you know how fast you can get through a doorknob.
Yeah.
The deadbolt is the number one dollar for dollar. It's going to save you the most money over any security system or anything, because a deadbolt, I can probably install a deadbolt with a hole, drilling holes and everything, for about $225. Okay. That is going to last forever. That's one time.
Yep.
One time you're going to pay that. And that deadbolt is going to stop almost anybody from getting in that house without a key.
So, okay. So why is it so much stronger? Like
because it's when you turn a deadbolt out, the bolt locks out.
Okay.
It's not on a spring loaded, like your latch is on a spring.
Okay.
So I can stick a credit card in a door latch, a doorknob, or a lever, but I can't do that with a deadbolt, because that locks out. When you turn the key out, that locks the deadbolt out.
Okay.
So like I said, you check your deadbolts. Always check your deadbolts. Turn them out and then smack them with your hand to make sure they're not sliding right back in. Because if they're not sliding all the way out, They're not locked.
So is that typical? Like it'll slide back in like that?
If it's not installed properly, yeah.
So that's again homeowner. That's
Yeah.
problem with homeowners and things like that.
Or the
So,
hole's
okay.
not deep enough. If the hole's not deep enough,
So it has to go all the way out, lock all the way
it
down.
has to go all the way. The deadbolt always has to go all the way out. You can take a deadbolt and you can just turn it like 3/4 of the way that it's supposed, and you'll smack it right back in.
Really?
Yep. We're installing a lot of the new deadbolts we install now are a lot of the electronic deadbolts and a lot of the Schlegel and Quickset power bolts and Yale. Yale makes a good. You asked. I heard you talk about earlier. I heard you talk about would you use a phone to unlock your locks? Yale makes one of the best
for phones.
For the phone.
Well, so let me ask you this, though, because you do this every day, right? So do you see that a lot? Do you see a lot of people go to the digital stuff?
Yep.
So that like across the board, lots of people are doing it now.
A lot of people are doing it. I'm installing a couple a week,
Okay.
and I'm just one person. I do my average workload in a weekly basis. I try to do 30 jobs a week.
Okay.
And that's, I mean, sometimes I do 50.
Yep.
Sometimes I do 20, but I'm doing 2, 3, 4 a week.
Okay.
Of those.
Really?
Yes.
And it's just, I mean, is it as safe as long as it's a deadbolt? It's fine.
Oh, if it's a deadbolt, it's safe.
Okay.
Yes. And the newer deadbolts are even more safe. With the Quickset has a smart key. Those are unpickable, and you can't bump key them. Bump keying is a strategy that lock pickers use
Okay.
to open a lock if you don't have a key, where you take a key that's cut a certain way and you bump it with to the end of a screwdriver or a small mallet,
Okay.
and you can manipulate the pins as you're bumping it. It's like you ever play pool?
Yep.
You kinetic energy goes through the balls.
Yep.
And that's how that cue ball can hit that ball, but that ball moves.
Yep.
Okay. Same with lock picking, with bump keying. If you're tapping that key, it's sending kinetic energy through that key, and then pins are bouncing up and down as you're doing it. And as you're putting just a little pressure on the key, you lock them pins one.
Really?
Yeah. I bump key all the time.
So you do that. So you take a key, you put it in a lock, you start tapping on the end.
Yeah.
And that's how
But it's got to be cut a certain way. It's not just any key.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bump key. There's a special key that it's got to be cut a special way.
So, but you do that all the time. When you go to a house, you have to pick a lock first.
There's a whole thing. There's a whole set of processes that I use to work and unlock somebody's house that's locked out of their house, that have lost their keys or left them in the house. If they've left them in the house, that's an easy get in, because that means just the doorknob, because you have to lock the deadbolt from outside.
Okay.
So you're never going to lock unless it's an electronic deadbolt.
Then you can use
You
those.
push
So
the
that's the
button.
downside of electronic
Yes.
deadbolts. I locked my, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But we can pick those. Some of them
Okay.
we can pick. But so we go through a process of, we try to pick it, we try to bump key it. But if it's just a lever, we use it's called a shim. We just put it. It's just like using a credit card, but it's not really a credit card. It's not as thick as a credit card. There's certain thicknesses.
Okay.
It's called a shim. It's called shimming the door. And then we use tools. There's Leashy lock pick tools, and they're made for all the major brand locks like Quickset, Schlegel.
So they're pretty universal.
Well, yeah, they're pretty universal. Any Quickset will work on any Quickset pick.
Okay.
Will work on any Quickset lock.
Okay.
But you can learn a lot if you go to my website.
And give us your website. I got it here down at the bottom, guys. But
My website is mynewlocks.com. It's mynewlocks.com, just how it sounds.
very cool. Like
Yeah.
we were talking about that. You put all kinds of content out about this stuff.
There's all kinds of content on my website, from picking out the right deadbolt or electronic deadbolt to why would you have a locksmith do your locks rather than doing them yourself. There's all kinds of content, but I would just, my biggest passion is this. I just want to go out and help as many people as I can. I get jobs from a lot of places. I get a lot of, I run ads, I get organic calls, but I also work for other locksmiths, and they'll send me jobs. And they'll send me a job. I had a job today, and the lady I told you she was in Wyandotte.
Yep.
And she was 84. And she's talking to somebody at a call center, and she needed a new door lock put on her garage. She lost the key. She couldn't get in her garage because it was locked. And they just put it in as a get in, get in the garage.
Yeah.
So I get there and I told her, I go, ma'am, your door's open. I'm done here. And she goes, well, I was supposed to get a key and a lock. And I go, well, it's not in the work order. And I said, you know, I go, you know what, man? And she's 84. I go, I'll put a door lock on there for you. No problem. Because I keep door locks in case I do have to cut somebody's lock off.
Yep.
We don't like to, but I keep door locks in the van just in case I have to cut somebody's lock off. So I put it on there for her, and she was hugging me.
No, that's right, because you did something you
Yeah,
care.
I mean-
I do that all the time. People like
And then
they call and ask a question. I go, you call me, ask me any question you want.
And it's not even about at the end of the day, we're out there to pay our bills, to work, and to work toward retirement, to pay for my house payment.
Yep.
But man, I could do this. If I could do it for free, I would. It's so, you see so many people and I help people.
Yeah.
People don't want to call me.
You're the guy that we're screwed. I'm screwed now. I got to call the locksmith.
I do lockouts in the middle of the night, and I did one the other night in Woodhaven, and it was semi. And I told the guy, this is what I charge. It's 2:00 in the morning, and he is 5 minutes from my house. But it took me 10 minutes to get there because I had to get ready and go. And I get there, and he had 2 people climbing on his semi trying to get in still. Well, what if he would have got in by the time? And I was on my way. I wasted up getting up and coming out in the middle of the night.
Sure.
And I'm like, look, man, do you need me to do this or not? You want to help people as much as possible, but there's also that I'm the last guy they want to call.
Right.
But my reputation and everything is very important and vital to me to know that I know there's scammers out there, and I worked for one when I first got in this business, and that's why I started working for myself.
So tell me about scams. Okay, so scam locksmith guys. How do we know what's going to happen, or what do we got to look out for? What kind of stuff like that?
The first sign that you're working with a scammer, and this is the simplest thing you can, is they don't want to give you pricing on the phone.
Really?
Yeah. I go, look, I have all my pricing. This is very simple. If you call my office and you ask me how much it's to rekey a lock, I'm going to tell you it's $25 to rekey a lock. I don't care if it's today. That's what the price was 3 years ago. The only thing I've changed since the prices have gone up, because everything's gone up, is I changed my service call fee. It used to be $25, and now it's $50. But my competition charges $65 and $75, so I'm still under.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So 25. So they don't want to give you a price. So if you're locked out of your house and they don't want to give you a price, there's a reason why. Because they want to know. They know you're in a bad situation already, and you're stressed out.
Yep.
And then they're going to make you wait, and you're waiting and waiting and waiting. So on my way to a job, I'll text somebody. I'll be like, look, I'm 10 minutes out. I'm coming.
Yeah.
But people like to know you're.
Absolutely.
And so they don't want to give you a price. So if they don't give a price, that's number one.
Yeah.
The next thing, when they get there, they say, oh, this isn't that kind of lock. So they want to discern between a lock. I don't care if you're locked out of a mansion, or if you're locked out of a rental, or if you're locked out of a single family home or an apartment. The price for a lockout shouldn't vary between $75, and I've seen people charge as much as $300 to $350 to pay to get.
Really?
Yes. That's why I got into business. I love what I do. I absolutely love it.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, you and I love talking about it.
I charge a certain rate for my town, Trenton. I'm in Trenton. And then if I do all of downriver, and when I first started this business, I was going all over Detroit. I was doing Troy. I was going out to Birmingham. I was going out to Southfield and Ypsi and Ann Arbor. And I did a job in Albion once for an investor. It was an investor job. I was slow that day, and I was like, yeah, I'll take the job. And I go, it was just to go change one lock. And I charged $250, but I drove to Albion and back.
Yeah.
And that's worth it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
They just attained the house, and they wanted to control the lock.
Yeah.
So
tell us more about scammers.
So the scammers is, so they're going to not want to give you a price, and then they're going to look at the lock and go, oh, it's not that kind of lock. It works the same scam. They work the same scam on a house as they do on a car. Oh, not this kind of car.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't, when you call them, so always make sure you get a price up front. And then if the vehicle doesn't have any signage, you have to be careful. So when the vehicle pulls up, it should have some signage. If they're reputable locksmith, they're going to have, like I work with companies, and I've always said, look, this is my number one. My brand is my number one thing.
Yep.
I want people to see my company as a good thing.
Yeah.
I see people pull up if somebody pulls up in a sedan and they're here to unlock your house or cut you a key, you better start thinking this
might not be the one.
Are they really invested in this for you or for them? Okay. And then if somebody can't pick a basic lock in a fairly decent amount of time, I'm talking, give them 5-10 minutes. If they can't get the lock picked, but if they go, first thing they go to is they want to cut that lock off, then it's a scam.
Scam too.
Because then they're going to cut the lock off. It's going to charge you labor. Then they're going to charge you for a new lock. And I've seen receipts is where they charge, because I'm in a lot of locksmith groups in a lot of different social media platforms. And we see receipts of people who've charged $300, $400 for a lock. Wow. $700 for a lock out one night at 2 a.m. because the locksmith couldn't get in the door because of their lock. That's not true. It's a scam. They're just trying to get, and they know you're in a bad spot. So
they know you're desperate.
So this is what I did. I worked for a locksmith company, and I saw that they wanted me to do that kind of stuff. I was new. I never did locksmithing. I worked for them for 3 months. And I was like, no, I'm going to learn enough to where I can do this. And I didn't know anything about cars at the time. So I just learned how to do house lockouts, car lockouts, and rekey locks, install new equipment. So I did that for the first year.
No kidding.
And I'm also one guy too. I could do 1-2 jobs a day and I can survive.
Yep. So,
but keeping the overhead low. Okay. So another thing too with the scams is if you have a simple fix, a lot of customers don't know what's wrong with their locks. That's why they call somebody, a professional, you know, and somebody will come out there and they'll blow the problem up into something that's more than it is. Like, this needs fixed, and I see it a lot more in commercial than I do on residential.
Yep.
I mean, we're in a residential market, but I'm sure you deal with a lot of commercial sales too.
Yep.
Where they'll say, oh, this is broken. When you start adding up repairs, any repair that costs more than it should is too much.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, we're all paying a lot more for gas, and we're all paying a lot more for everything at the grocery store. Anytime somebody's out here trying to take advantage of somebody, you have to be careful.
Yeah, 100%. So tell me we talked about this too, and this has always intrigued me. Tell me the difference between a skeleton key and a key. Like what happens in a lock?
Okay. So when I turn a lock, when I turn a key, I'll get a key for an example. We'll use this. I don't want to use this. Okay. So this is a basic key right here. I'm going to show you guys, your people.
Okay. Yep.
So here's a basic key. I'll hold it up here. It's flat. There's no cuts in it. That's where all the work happens. So then you'll take this key, and this key has 5 different cuts in it, 5 different depths.
Okay.
Each one of the depths matters. Now, a skeleton key, if you look at them, and you can see how they work, because they'll have like one spot where it'll hang in when you stick that skeleton key in the hole, and it'll turn, and it swings a gate inside the lock to open the lock.
Okay.
It only takes one. I mean, they're easy to pick through.
Yep.
I've picked through a lot of furniture has skeleton keys on them still.
Okay.
So I'll pick. We use an Allen wrench to open them.
An Allen wrench? No kidding.
Yeah. So we just use an Allen wrench because you just hook it to a pair of vice grips and you fish for a while.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like a set of handcuffs. Pretty simple. You know, I mean, those two.
So those are easy to get out.
Those are easy to get out. Do you ever see? You can get out of a pair of handcuffs with. I mean, easy.
Like with what?
Not me. I don't try, but I've seen examples. YouTube, you know.
Yeah. I got you.
Okay. But anyways, but a skeleton key has usually only 1, 2, maybe 3 at the most cuts or depths and spaces.
Okay.
A residential key generally carries 5 cuts and depths and spaces.
So 5 different places have to hit for it to open it up.
To turn that lock.
Okay.
And on a commercial key, and a lot of the higher security, there's a lot of predatory keyways. You'll find predatory keyways at chain stores and stuff like that. There'll be 6, 7, and possibly 8.
So only up to 8.
Cuts. Yeah.
Okay. But the basic, like you get a quick key set.
A residential, there's 5.
5. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna find 5.
Guys, listen, if you haven't done it already, go check out Jason's website, mynewlocks.com, the local locksmith. This guy, I'm telling you, we've been talking for a good half hour before we even started the show, going crazy here. So if you ever want an honest businessman that's going to help you do the right things, he's the guy. Jason, anything for the people before you take off?
No, just be careful, be safe, and locks seem like a big expense, but what's the one purpose of a lock? Is to keep somebody from getting your stuff.
Yep.
I mean, it's a small price to pay, and I've seen a lot of the people that you have do get rekeys. I don't get enough new home business to where I have real estate agents like you and several of them downriver that I do work with, and but as a big part of sales, I don't see it. It doesn't fluctuate in my business. Like I just bought my house. I need you to rekey it. I don't get a lot of that.
Really?
I get a little
But it's
bit.
cheaper though, you said, right?
It's cheaper to rekey it, but a lot of people want newer hardware too.
Yeah, that's true. It's
And
been
a lot
on,
of people-
it's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got
Yeah.
it.
Well, hey, it's been nice. It's been nice meeting you. And then, like I said, if you get an opportunity to visit mynewlocks.com, I appreciate it. And if you have any questions, there's an email form on there. You can ask me, and I'll answer questions. And
You can throw a number out there if you want to.
yeah, 734-925-6647, and it's the local locksmith company. We're in Trenton, Michigan, and we're a member of Allen Park Chamber of Commerce. We're a member of Trenton Business Association. We're a member of NASTF. It's the North American Safety Task Force. That's for stolen cars. We're a member of that, and we're a member of ALOA, Associated Locksmiths of America, which is the biggest. It's like the
National
NEA.
Association of Realtors.
That's NAR. The national. It's like the NAR for our business is the ALOA, and I'm a member of that. And it's just me. I'm background checked. I can say I'm my employees. I don't have any employees. I'm the only employee. I do the books.
You make it all
I
happen.
do it all. I mean, without.
Just a guy trying to work hard, do right things for people.
My wife helps though. My wife helps out.
I met her. She's a good lady.
Yeah,
She's a
she's
good lady.
awesome. She's up doing cars with me yesterday. And but if you need any questions, if you have any questions for me directly, put a form in for my website, mynewlocks.com. And you got a couple of questions up here.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
Isn't it what we're talking about? I think we were talking about deadbolts. So like one guy was talking about 3-inch screws.
On a deadbolt, I mean, if you're installing 3-inch screws and that's doing the deeper the screws go in that door into that wood, the more hold it's going to have on a deadbolt.
Yeah.
I mean, that bolt is what holds. Somebody's going to kick it in. They're going to kick that bolt. The screws will help.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of times you'll be careful. Be careful. You're using longer screws because I just did one in Woodhaven the other day where the guy had those windows next to his doors.
Yep.
And a lot of times those deadbolt will only give you enough room for the deadbolt to shoot out. If you use long screws, it shoots out front of the window.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Holy smokes.
That's the stuff that homeowners won't see until
it's too late.
Yeah.
Until it's too late.
Well, hey.
Guys, I'll tell you what, guys, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to finish this show up, and Jason's going to come back on in the Facebook group. So if you're not part of Talking Real Estate, the Facebook group, he's going to give us one story from the road just for folks that are at that part, okay? So if you haven't already, join our Facebook group, Talking Real Estate. And like I said, he promised me one good story from the road. So I'm going to finish this show up and bring Jason back on in a few minutes, all right? Thanks, guys.
Hey, thanks. Nice meeting y'all.
All right, buddy. All right, guys, real quick. So we went over a bunch, but listen, it was so interesting. Like he and I talked and I just kept finding all kinds of things out. It's a cool thing. So Jason is your local locksmith, and I put the website up there for you too. Let's do this and that real quick and get done with the show. So first, this or that, hidden key or keyless entry. Which would you rather have, hidden key or keyless entry? Put it in the chat for me, please. Hidden key or keyless entry. Put it in the chat for me, please. That's the first of this or that. We only got time to do 2. We're only going to do 2 tonight because we're running over and someone's got dinner cooking for me. So I got to make sure I get home for that. So this or that. Would you rather have hidden key somewhere or would you have keyless entry? What do you got for me? What do you got? That's your first this or that for tonight. What do you think? There we go. Hidden key. Chris Bergeron says hidden key. What else we got? Hidden key or this or that? Keyless entry. Shelly Gambino says keyless entry. Oh, yeah. Hidden key for Steve Price. Talk to me. What do we got? Keyless. That Kathy Cordy says keyless. Holy smokes. Neck and neck. Let's see what we got here. Who's going to break out this tie? What are going to make things happen? Again, keyless entry or hidden key? Which would you rather have? Which would you rather have? I'll give you 10 more seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hidden keys win. Hidden keys win tonight. Hidden keys. So that's number 1. Number 2, if I can spell it correctly, because I can't spell it today, is would you rather have a skeleton key or a deadbolt? Which would you rather have? Skeleton key or deadbolt? Let's see what we got. I like skeleton key. I think it's just funny to me. It's a funny thing. He and I were laughing about it. Oh, skeleton keys, this and that. We were talking about in the city of Dearborn, you can't have a skeleton key at all. So skeleton key or deadbolt? Which would you rather have? Which would you rather have? Skeleton key or deadbolt lock? I'll spell bolt right too. Which would you rather have? Which would you rather have? Steve Kreitz says deadbolt. Chris Wojcicki says deadbolt. What do you got? Deadbolt or skeleton key? Deadbolt or skeleton key? Deadbolt says Kathy Cordy. Pat Neese, what says you? What says you? Shelly Gambino, who's out there? Let's talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. Again, guys, I was absolutely enthralled through that whole conversation. That's why we went over a little bit. All right. So it looks like Deadbolts have it because they were listening to Jason. Jason said Deadbolt is pound for pound the best thing that you can buy to keep your home safe is Deadbolt. There we go. Deadbolt. All right. So the last order of business, again, Pumpkin Challenge is coming up. It's the 26th of October. Okay, so make sure you get involved in that. Last and not least, we're talking after show. The after show tonight is going to be Jason explaining one story from the road, telling us one of his crazy, wild locksmith story. Because we had a couple. I go, oh man, that's a good one. You got to tell everybody on the show. So if you have not jumped into our Facebook group, Talking Real Estate, make sure that you do. We'll head there now. I'm Scott, and I'm definitely talking real estate. See ya.